warm welcome from the Treehouse and another episode of Tree Talk. And as you can see, we're very cosy in the Treehouse today because with me we have Tanglemist, which are Julia Sowden and Andi Sowden, musicians and creators. Am I right?
Loosely.
Loosely, yeah. Well, how would you describe yourself, Andy?
Just blag it on 6 chords.
That's quite a lot, actually.
I know. And variations of. We're getting good at it.
Yeah. So it's great. It's great to have musicians in the Treehouse. I think we've had like one so far. So I'm really excited that you're here. And of course I've seen you a few times over the past few years because we played at the same festivals, same gigs, haven't we? Same events. And really enjoyed your act. And so it's about the music that maybe we can start off with. What are your influences?
Oh, do we have influences?
Can you remember that far back?
Yeah.
Because you do your own music, don't you?
Yeah.
So you're original creators, which I love. And I know I've got my influences, but you know, from my own point of view as an artist, I've forgotten about those now because I think once you get into your own music, I don't know, is that how you feel or what do you think?
I think we just did our own thing to start with, didn't I? I sort of come up with tunes. I come up with songs. And they're awful. Yeah, they're really bad nursery rhymes. Okay. And then I have to sing it to Andy and say, make something different out of that. So it turns out with
another 6 chords.
Another. But yeah, I don't think anything has actually influenced us music-wise.
No.
In that, I mean, we've got obviously music we like, but what we do bears
no significance to anything else.
Really,
no, I must admit. I mean, when I see you perform, you're pretty original. No, I like that. You know, you are original.
Yeah.
You couldn't sort of. I can't pinpoint a genre. Not really.
No.
And that's what I like.
And I think that's a good indication, isn't it, of originality.
Yeah, and everything that we write really is just based on life experience, isn't it? Things that have happened.
Yeah.
There's a song in that, so I'm sure there'll be a Treehouse song before long.
That'd be great. That'd be really good. I look forward to that one.
Yeah, we've written about stages and all sorts of things, haven't we? Holidays. Grasshoppers.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get on to the content and the inspiration for your songs maybe a little bit later. But what about the name Tanglemist? Where did that come from? Because it's a lovely name. I love it.
Yeah. We were struggling for a long time to find a name, weren't we? Yeah. Because we'd actually been part of another band, and after that we'd been very kindly given some gigs by a promoter whose festival we'd played at several times, and he'd given us these gigs and just billed us as Andi and Julia Sowden. And then he said he wanted us to play this festival, and he said, but I'm not putting you on till you come up with a name. So then we had to really think about it, didn't we? And there was a friend of ours who had worked, whatever she did, I don't know. She was out. You probably
know her, Anna Bass. Anna Bass from Two Coats Colder.
No, I don't.
Oh, right. But she'd been, many years ago, studying whales.
Okay.
And she'd given them names. And one of these whales she'd called Tanglemist.
Oh.
And she just gave us a CD-ROM with all the names of all the whales that she looks at and just says if there's anything there that inspires you, use it.
So it was this whale called Tanglemist that became Tanglemist.
Lovely.
Thought, yeah.
Lovely. And how long ago was that? How long have you been
2012
together as a musical?
Yeah,
2012.
6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
And you started off as a duo?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you added on?
Yeah, we're always adding on.
Do you ever have to take away?
We've not yet taken away.
We haven't had to, but people
have
taken themselves
away.
I mean, a natural evolution.
We're quite fluid.
So we're always happy for people to come along and play with us. We did a gig last year. Was there 9 people on stage?
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there? Yeah. And we love it. We love it. I don't particularly like the duo thing. I always want more people.
Yeah,
So,
I'm a little bit like that.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that.
It's very obvious if you make a mistake when it's just the two of you.
It gives you more confidence as well, and it's just nicer, and it fills out the music more and everything.
Yeah.
And so we're always
You're hearing your music
wanting
how
other
you've never
people.
heard it before as
Yeah.
well. If you've got people just impromptu turning up with a bank of synths or something like that, never heard that before. So you're hearing your own music in a new way.
And the
every time.
electric guitar when that
Yeah.
came in, and different
bass
people
and-
put their own.
Yeah. So do you
feeling
find that you just allow the music to evolve, and whoever comes in to
Yeah.
add
Adds,
on,
yeah.
you don't try and manipulate
No.
that
No, not at all.
the style too much?
No,
No,
So-
because I wouldn't be manipulated. If I was playing with another band,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be told what to do. It'd be how I play, and that'd
Yeah.
be it.
Yeah. So not only is that kind of musical, you've got to have that musical relation, the same kind of musical ideas, haven't you, as the other? But you also got to get on a
you've got
personal
to get
level.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually being in a band is, it's not always
It's
easy,
not
is
easy.
it?
No.
It's not easy. No.
So getting the right people is
You've
fundamental,
you've
isn't
got
it?
Very
I think the first thing is you have to gel with people. You have to get on with them. And
Yeah.
you've got to be relaxed around people to play with them.
Yeah, of course. Because I don't know, you must feel the same. I mean, there's nothing beats making music with other people,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
with friends. It just
Yeah.
it becomes almost like a family, don't
Family.
you?
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
bonding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And I was looking at your website last night, doing my research, and
Must update that sometime.
no, it's okay. It's good. I enjoyed looking at
It's
it. I
very
tell
up-to-date.
you what I love:
Hmm.
the homepage picture, the image at the top.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Barry Watts.
Yeah, it was Barry Watts, a friend of ours.
That's amazing.
He's done a couple of people. The first album cover was something that he sent me, and I wasn't expecting it. It just turned up in my inbox.
Yeah.
And I said, "Whoa, can I use that?" He said, "Yeah, of course you can." Yeah, very clever with graphics and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because it's obviously come from a photo.
Yeah.
Is it Photoshop or something? I'm
I
not very
haven't got-
technical.
It'll have used some kind of
Yeah.
manipulation
Really effective.
program. Yeah.
Really effective.
Yeah.
And you've done 3 albums to
Yeah.
date,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're working on your 4th. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
good.
a real labour of love, this one.
Yeah. So tell me about your creative process. How does that happen from the point of view of, I mean, do you kind of think consciously, right, we're going to write a song?
No.
Or
No.
does it just
That
happen?
happens.
Yeah.
It
Or we're going to
happens.
we're going to do an album, and it's going to be on this theme, and we're going to do it, and we're going to finish it by such and such day.
That's
blah, blah, blah.
only happened with the
How does it all
most
work?
recent album, in that I had the brilliant idea, only because we've got so many Badger songs that I thought we must put them onto an EP. And then, of course, songs grew, and I thought we must do an album, and we must do an album just of wildlife songs. And then we can use that and give it away to different groups, and they can fundraise, and and that's how that album has grown. And the
Yeah.
deadline was June last year.
Oh, right, okay.
It's still
And
ongoing.
the first drum
But
tracks
is it
were
growing? Are you still continuing to write songs, or is it just
no,
you mean the
songs
production
are
of it?
done
is-
because
is slowed.
it's not just us; it's Tanglemist and friends.
Right.
So we're having a lot of guest musicians
Yeah.
with us, and it's so this file's going backwards and forwards, and it's all taking time, and it all
Right.
needs to
So
be.
you don't all get into a recording studio
No.
and
No, we
do
take
the old sort
full
of. That's a bit old
advantage of
school now, isn't it?
electronics.
School, yeah. You have done some, haven't you? Because with a drum kit, you had to go into a studio.
Yeah, we've used
Yeah.
two drummers with full kits, and I've had to go into a studio and record them. But everything else is just emails, WAV files back and
Yeah.
forth, and slide
Yeah.
back into the studio, which is
Yeah.
great. It
Yeah.
saves a lot of time. However, the downside of it is, if you pin somebody down to say next Tuesday, they'll be there and it's recorded. If you send somebody a file, it gets done when they've got time to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we've got at the moment, is things are dragging on a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's,
But,
and then
but-
there's a massive production task. It's huge. So many musicians on it.
But other things have just come, haven't they? And the writing of the songs. It used to happen a lot when I'd just be out dog walking, which is my day job. Yeah, and I'd go out, walk dogs, and I'd make up a song as I was walking. You know, that's just how it happened. And one song came while we were actually sitting in a motorway service station. He went to get me a cup of coffee. By the time he came back, I've got a new song. And I'd got the entire song in that time. But
I think I know which song that was. Is that your Wales song?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it come in that time. And sometimes some have literally just come like that.
Yeah,
and
I get
others,
songs like that.
Yeah. Others may take a bit
longer.
of time, but others, quite a lot of them have happened just being out on a dog walk.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. That's how I get my ideas.
And as far as the music goes, we just sit around and I'll just play until something sounds
right.
Yeah. So there's no, I've got no musical training. I can't read music, so I'll just play me 6 chords and see
and
what order they fall in.
has to change
6
everything.
chords is more than enough, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't do bees. I hate bees. Not
Yeah.
buzzy bees. The chord
Yeah,
bee.
well, I mean, I've just written a song with, and Ian's just done it with 2 chords.
And we've got one with 2 chords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
So I don't use all 6 in the same song. No.
I know what you mean.
Forget them.
Variations on the theme
Yeah.
of 6 chords.
Yeah.
So, and how do you record? You record from home, obviously.
Yeah.
So how does that happen?
I've
you
got,
got a
I've got a
separate-
24 track studio
Have you?
in a bedroom. Basically, we convert the second bedroom. We converted into a studio, if you like.
Yeah.
So all the instruments are in one place. Nothing's littering the house anywhere. And
How organised.
I know.
Blimey.
And the studio's
I'm
set up
impressed.
in there.
Studio's not organised.
No, but at least, like you say,
Yeah.
Andy said, you've got
Got a
everything
room
in
It's all
one
in one
place.
place. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it's somewhere as well that I can, if I want to play around, if I'm editing stuff, I can just go away, shut myself in the room, and do it without distractions of setting things up in the dining room or anything.
Yeah.
It's all there. I can just walk in, turn it on, and start work. So
Yeah.
it works well. Yeah.
So how much further have you got on your to do on your album before it comes out, do you think?
Waiting for a few tracks to come back from people, and I've got to send a few out to people to come back again.
There's only one we're waiting back from at the moment, isn't it? And then,
Yeah, we're waiting for one back at the moment, but then when we're further into production, I've got to send one out.
yes, yeah. So that's the thing. Once you get you can't send it on to somebody else until you've got the other person's bit
Yeah,
back.
I understand that.
So, but I think there's only one, and then there's a couple you've got to send out,
Yeah,
and then it's just mixing, isn't it? And the
which
production
is
and
the production's going
that'll
to be a
be
big
done.
job.
We've got the artwork being done for us for the album cover. That's happening.
Mhm.
So I really, really hope it's out soon.
Yeah, so do
Yeah.
I. I want to hear it. I've been hearing it all through your, your gigs.
Mm.
Are those all the songs?
No,
Not all
we've,
of them.
we've got quite a lot, and we've got some because some of all the different musicians we've got, they're all sounding very, very different, and some of the sounds we've got are really good, aren't they? And I think I wish we could do this live. You know?
Yeah, because you've almost got in some of your songs, you've almost got a Native American feel, you know?
Really?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Magic Mushroom
That
Man.
must be in
is
the
it?
blood.
Is that in your blood?
Yeah, Blackfoot.
Really?
Yeah.
Blimey, I didn't know that. Oh, it's all coming together. Look at that, yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense now, doesn't it?
Oh, tell us about that. Tell us
Not a
about
lot
that.
to tell, not a lot I know. And I didn't actually know until my aunt died. And everyone else has gone. You know, my grandparents are gone, my parents are gone. And my aunt went, and it came out at her funeral. And I said to my older sister, I didn't know about, Native American, I didn't know. She said, yeah, Blackfoot. She said, oh, Auntie Pat was always talking about it. Of course, I didn't. And of course,
Wow.
you wish you'd asked these things
Yeah,
when you're
oh
younger.
God,
You
yeah,
don't think when
definitely.
you're young, and then when you're older, you want to know
Yeah.
about these things.
But you can't deny or ignore that has come through in your DNA, can you
No.
really? Because it's reflecting in your art. Because I've picked up on it. I mean, and that's without knowing.
Yeah.
And that must be where you get your love of the earth and animals and conservation, and
A
because
lot of
that's
things
your
too.
inspiration for your art, isn't it? For your music, isn't it?
A lot of it is, yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because and you're heavily involved with conservation, aren't you?
Yeah.
What can you talk about that with the badgers and everything? 'Cause
Yeah.
you talk about that on stage, don't you? Andy often sort of shuts you up.
Oh, yeah, has to.
No,
He has to.
Not for too long, Julia. All right, just a quick one in a nutshell.
There's times where I've had to drop a song because she's...
We're
This is what happens when you're passionate about what you're talking about, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So give us a quick nutshell.
I'll shut her up when she's got
Yeah, all right, then, all right.
I'm used to that.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
It's just what you want me to talk about. Yeah.
Well, basically, where your love for and your this sense of wanting to protect the endangered species of the planet, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's all of our responsibility.
Yeah.
To protect our Mother Earth and all our brothers and sisters of the animal kingdom that haven't got a voice to speak for themselves and are so persecuted. So, we got involved with the badgers when the badger cull started. And of course, that opened up a minefield of what goes on. And we're both members of the local badger group, North East Essex Badger Group.
Oh, fantastic.
We're both active members, and we monitor sets and we pick up roadkill, which isn't always nice, but has to be done because you have to check that it is actually roadkill.
Okay.
And nothing nasty's happened. Obviously, check that it is dead and doesn't need to be got to a vet.
Yeah.
And also in the spring, you get, if it's a lactating sow, there are cubs out there.
Oh.
So if you possibly can, to try and locate the cubs. So
Yeah.
we do that, and of course we've also been every year when the badger cull happens, we go out and try and protect the badgers wherever we can.
Fantastic.
We've been Somerset, and we've been
Somerset
Dorset,
3 years and Dorset 2 years.
and Gloucester 1 year.
Gloucester, yeah.
So
Yeah. And your little story about your whale, can you tell us about that?
I really got into the whale thing a couple of years ago, and I had a dream, a very, very vivid dream. And I dreamt there was a dolphin. And you know how dolphins, when they're made to speak, and of course they've got that dolphin voice, but they're speaking
They squeak,
words.
don't they?
Yeah, when the trainers get them to sing happy birthday to people or something like that.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
dear.
I had this dream, and this dolphin had got its head up over this edge of the tank, and it was saying, "Boudica, help, honey, killer whale, hurting," like this, and it was coming out in this dolphin voice. And then it went to this image of a grey concrete tank and this orca slamming her head repeatedly. And I was so distressed, I woke up, it was so real. So I started, you can look up the name of every orca and dolphin in captivity online. So I did that, looking for Boudica, 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 Boudica. And I couldn't find anything. Put it onto Facebook. I had this dream. Somebody said, "No, Boudica is you. The dolphin is called honey.
Warrior.
The dolphin is honey."
You've got to
So
fight.
right, I'm back on. Loads of dolphins called honey. So then, is there any orcas where these dolphins are? So I found a match. There was an orca with honey at a place called Laura Park in Tenerife, and this orca was called Morgan. Really strange coincidence. The very next night, I'm flicking through the telly looking for something to watch, and I think it was on Al Jazeera. There was a documentary about an orca called Morgan. And so I watched it, and it was this very same orca captured when she was about 7 years old, in distress in the sea, supposed to be rescued and then put back. And she never was. She was now owned by SeaWorld and kept at Laura Park. And, you know, looking into it more, yes, she was indeed bashing her head against this concrete tank. So that got me really up against these orcas that are kept in captivity.
But that's not what the song's about.
No, the song is actually...
The
song came into my head in the car park, actually was about Lolita, also known as Tokitai. And she was captured off Washington State in a place called the Salish Sea in 1970 when she was 4 years old. And she's now the only survivor from that roundup in captivity. Was it 48 years now she's been at Miami Seaquarium.
God, how long do they live for?
Well, her mother is still alive in her 80s, and her mother is now the matriarch of the pod called the L Pod. And her mother is still, her grandmother recently died. But they can live up to 100 years. So she's now 52 years old, and she's been there since she was 4 years old. She performs twice a day, every day, 7 days a week. At night, she's silent, really, during the day, but at night she still sings the songs of her family, that each orca pod has its own language. And she hasn't heard her own language in all those years, but at night she still sings in her own language.
So she's remembered that?
So she's remembered that.
Since she was 4?
Since she was 4.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's been, again, it came from a dream from a 13-year-old girl, went to her tribe, the Lummi Nation, who lives in Seattle, and said, I had a dream about Tokitai, and she's saying, can anybody hear me? I want to go home. I want to go home.
Dear.
So they took up her cause and they carved this totem pole, and they travelled all across the states from Seattle to Miami and took this totem pole to Miami Seaquarium, and it was just amazing. They've got involved, and of course they won't entertain talking to them, but they've actually got an area. They've got a 100-acre sea pen for her to be, to bring her home.
Rehabilitated.
Yeah, she could live in this sea pen. It's got a fresh salmon farm there, so she can learn how to feed with real live fish again instead of the dead fish she's thrown.
So this is like an ongoing crusade
to
get her back.
To get her back.
She belongs
back
to them, doesn't she?
She does. They own the rights to the Salish Sea, so, and they talk about her as being their sister.
Yeah.
They say that the Orca are the people who live under the sea. They say they are the first people, and they are all our ancestors and our brothers and sisters, aunties and uncles. And they say, we want our sister home.
Oh.
And she would then, although she'd be still looked after by people, she would learn how to live in the sea, how to eat fresh fish, and her family still swim in those waters, so she would be able to interact with her mother again.
Yeah, fantastic. And what's your song called?
Stolen Freedom.
Stolen Freedom. What album's that on?
The new one.
Is it?
It is.
What a great lead. What a great lead into that. Well, hurry up and get this album out.
Yeah.
Hurry up and get this album out. Well, I'm really glad that you've had a chance to talk about that, because it's not on your website.
No.
But then why would it be? But, because, we don't get a lot of time, us musicians, do we, really, to do things like websites, because we're out gigging and we're writing songs
Saving
and
the
we're
world.
producing albums. But no, I think that's why I wanted to get you in here, really, because I know that because you do get a chance on stage to talk about it a little bit, but
I'll try before he shuts me
yeah.
up.
I feel like we should have a song now, but anyway, go and buy the album when it comes out, but before that, buy all the other albums, 3 of them.
Yeah.
So what's your website called?
Tanglemist.co.uk.
Tanglemist.co.uk, and you've got a Facebook page.
Yeah,
You can
we
be
have.
contacted on there. And what's coming up next gig-wise?
Tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Carpenter's Arms in Malden.
Carpenter's Arms in Malden.
Well, this won't go out by tomorrow,
No,
but it'll
no.
be a bit
We've got
outdated by then. But
Birmingham
We've got
Wildlife
Birmingham
Festival
Wildlife Festival
next
on the
week,
16th
so we're going to
of
be
June.
doing all our animal songs. So.
okay.
And further than that, I have to look at the gig list.
Yeah, well, it's on your
Because I've got a clue.
website.
It is.
There's a
Yeah.
page, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all the information everybody needs, really. Well, thank you, both of you, for coming. And also, you make things. I just want to show everybody the lovely gift that you made me, which was going to adorn the tree house. Goddess. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For giving me that. And it's a stone cast. Did you say,
Stone
Julia?
cast. Yeah.
Yeah. She's beautiful.
Stone cast and finished this morning very hurriedly while he's going, hurry up, Julia, we're going to be late.
No, I'm absolutely chuffed with that, delighted. She's going to sit on the altar up there. Thank you. And yeah, thank you for coming and joining us in the treehouse. And
Thanks for asking us. It's beautiful.
And hopefully it won't be too long before we see you at another gig. Are you playing at Mill Beach?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the 23rd of June.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll put this out before then. That's only next week, actually.
And we're at the
isn't
Shark
Week
in
after.
Harlow on the same day.
it? Yeah. Oh God.
I know.
Busy.
2 in one day.
Meet yourselves coming back.
I think I think we're playing the Shark at 12:30 and then Mill Beach at 7:30.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going to be
Okay.
like a lot of
Okay.
driving around.
Well, good luck with all your musical ventures
Thank
and
you.
your animal ventures
Thank
and
you.
saving the planet and all the endangered species. Good on you. And
you.
yeah, ta-ta for now, everybody. Bye.